But Evan Neal at guard. I have this theory, Dan, that I don't even like O-line rotations, but I just have a feeling based on how this camp has gone, where they've rotated him in and out at both guard spots, and also kind of knowing that I think there is a world where Evan Neal could be a decent run blocker. I think dealing with quick moves off the line is going to be very bad for him as a pass blocker. But I still kind of think I can envision a world where Evan Neal rotates in and out with Greg Van Roten this year, given a certain game, given a certain opponent, given a certain situation. Evan Neal at guard, what's been your takeaway from him basically through the first 2 weeks? I feel like pre-pads there was one story, and then post-pads it's been another.
Yeah, yeah. I'll actually go back to that rotation point. It wasn't one I had thought too much about because they didn't do it at all last year, and I think Carmen Basilio even said he's not a fan of it. But now we go back. You have to tap into your institutional knowledge. That was with Dable though, because I know Judge definitely did it, but Dable did it too with like Bredesen and Gates, right? That was the
Bredesen,
Dable.
Gates, Feliciano was not part of it. Feliciano should have been the one rotated in and out.
Right.
But yes, it was Bredesen and Gates where you're
Yeah, so
taking
he's
two
done
good
it. So
linemen.
we know I haven't really thought about that. Might make the most sense because like you said, that's how practice works. It's like Van Roten will be the first guy up, and then like he'll do 3 reps in a period, and Neal will do the next 3. Then Neal will get the whole next period. Then GVR will get the whole next period. So it's like they literally are rotating, and I could see that maybe being a sort of a middle ground they settle on because I think coming into this camp, they were really really hopeful that Evan Neal was going to just look awesome at guard, wrestle that job away from GVR, but make it you can't just disrespect GVR and like shoehorn a guy in who can't play. Make it a legitimate competition, and then have it be like, well, listen, what can we say? This guy's a mountain of a man. Look how much he's much more comfortably looks at guard. Look how much better he looks at guard. GVR would be super valuable then as like your utility guy. You can back up both guard spots and center off the bench. I think that would like
Yep.
raise the ceiling, raise the floor, everything about the offensive line. And like you said, I think there was some early optimism. Even those first 2 days of pads when it was run, run, run. Like I think one
Right.
practice Russ threw like 4 passes one practice because they're just pounding the ball, and you can see the reason for optimism or hope there, where it's like, Jermaine Aluminor, was a great quote to begin with, and he was saying, like when we start moving guys on double teams, you kind of see the vision, like, yeah, that could be pretty good, like running behind these 2 monsters on the right side, but then, yeah, like you said, you start playing real football and you're passing, and I think a lot of that optimism has kind of waned. I mean, I will be the first to admit I do not sit there and focus on the right guard when I'm watching practice from field level on the side. A lot of times you might have to go back and, well, it's great during when fans are at practice because you guys video everything, and I can go back and have a kind of better view. And I'll see him, and the one thing I do notice a lot of times live, but then even when you go back and watch, he's just on the ground a lot. Like that's just always been his thing. The footwork, the balance, whatever it is, he's just always on the ground, and you can't play a guy like that. I mean, obviously, I know they
No.
did it for a couple of years, and it didn't go well. So again, I'm not gonna sit there and also like pull the plug on the Neal guard experiment. I think if you want to talk about who preseason live action is gonna be most important for on
Oh,
the
it's
whole
him.
team, if people are gonna talk like Montrell Washington, these guys who like have a sliver of a chance to make the roster or whatever. Evan Neal, there's nobody who it's more important for because he could literally go from making this a real competition or actually starting to just being like an afterthought and like, yeah, dude, like you can't do it. Like we'll keep training you up there, but like you might get GVR gets hurt in a game, they might put like Kubas in or Stinney and whoever's there because like if he shows in the preseason that he hasn't made that transition click, then I just think that they'd have to say like, all right, this isn't going to work. But I know they very much want it to work, and I think they had some optimism because I mean there are just physical traits. Even you talk to teammates and stuff, it's like when he gets his hands on you, like
Oh, it's
it's
over.
over. It's
Yeah.
over. The problem is getting his hands on you, and I think and again like he played tackle 1 year at Alabama like 6 years ago, so it's like the idea that it's just like this easy transition back. I don't think that's the case because I was talking to some teammates and they're actually getting pretty technical, which players don't often do, saying like he has to learn to stop throwing his hands so much because maybe on the outside he felt like he needed to do that to mitigate the speed. He's like
Right.
he's so big, he needs to like because if he shoots his hands and you miss inside, it's like boom, Dexter Lawrence is swimming by you and your quarterback's 6 feet into the turf. So just stuff like that is still a work in progress. So it's probably ambitious to think he's going to be ready to come in, be a day one starter, play 100% of the snap. So maybe I could see your rotation thing being a compromise because I do think they still see some upside there. I think they're obviously, even if it's subconsciously, they're invested in their number 7
Yeah.
pick, producing something for them. And it's not like he's playing behind, Larry Allen. I mean, Greg Van Roten, maybe it would benefit him to take a series off every third series, whatever it may be. I think that's a good thought because I hadn't really considered that. But that might make the most sense. And it's also like you're not throwing too much at him. Because I think honestly, if you throw him out there week one, expect him to play 100% of snaps,
60, 70 snaps. Yeah.
Yeah, he gives up a sack or two. You're gonna have everyone who's behind him now is gonna be chirping, and like we've seen, he doesn't handle that well. So I think maybe let him get his toe in the water because I do think that there is a chance, like he could be. I don't want to say Mekhi Becton, but like even Eric Flowers level transition that could happen. But I don't think he looks ready to do it now. So yeah, maybe that's the way to do it. You give him a little bit here, a little bit there. You see some progress, let his confidence build up, and then maybe you have something for the second half of the year where he's a legitimate option at guard.
Yeah, that's been my theory. Rotation. I think it makes sense. Even though again, I like in my brain like there's a 5 that plays together, but I know that they want to put him out on the field, so I can see that happening.